Hi YouTubers, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do a quick how to sort the latch out on a McLaren 570 GT, the latch for the rear luggage hatch, which I think is not a common problem, but when I had a problem with mine, I looked on the internet and it's something that has come up for other owners, and other owners have had to pay to get it replaced. I think the going rate is about £1,800 at the McLaren dealership. Others have had theirs replaced under warranty, but if you're like me, I don't have a warranty on my car. It's a 2017, late 2017 model, so I decided to run it without the warranty. Absolutely love the car, and okay, I know it's annoying, it will break down. Little things like this do happen and will happen, but just fix it and then go for a drive and you'll soon forget the problems. So anyway, the latch, when you press the button to release the latch, it releases okay, but when you shut the latch, mine was not shut in. You have to it started off being a pain. You had to really slam it. I lubricated it from the top, where I could see it, and it seemed to be okay, but it's come back again. And also I was kind of like a bit apprehensive about opening the latch to put stuff in, so I don't really want to be like that. So I bit the bullet, decided to strip it down. I had a go taking the rear luggage deck out and that sort of thing, which is fairly straightforward. And then I was like, oh, right, how the hell does this, it was obvious, like this whole frame has to come out so you can actually get to the latch, because it's tucked right inside the body here. So I actually went onto the McLaren website, which is the McLaren, if you Google it, McLaren Tech something or other, where you can pay for access. It's really actually very, very good, and I am really surprised that they just allow people like myself to register, log in, and then just pay to access all of their information, and everything is on there. It's like a really, really awesome Haynes manual for your car, but obviously written by the people who actually built it. So I was able to log in, have an hour. It was £25, and it was the best £25 I've ever spent, because I was able to take screenshots. You can't redistribute the information, but I was able to take screenshots of everything I need. I'm just looking at it now on my laptop. So I found the part of the website that concerned the latch. So that was within body panels and closures, and then you go to closures and you go down to tailgate engine cover, and then it goes on to the latch. So when you click on the latch menu, it then goes into the instructions, and it gives you really good, clear, concise instructions. But there's a few things, there's the preparation work before it actually talks about the removal of the latch, which is literally just 3 bolts and pull the latch out. But firstly, it says, number 1, remove access hatch for the luggage. So at the front of the car, it wants you to disconnect the battery. That's 1 and 2. So you have to remove the luggage bin, which is fairly straightforward to do, and disconnect the battery. I didn't bother with that. Next one is to remove the vent from the rear deck, which is, let me just show you, which is this bit here. Now I used a plastic, sort of plastic tool, and got in, I've masking taped all around the body first, and then I used a plastic tool at this side, okay, so the side away from the hinge, just levered it up gently, and then I was able to just get my fingers in and pull it up all the way around and pull it back. Now, I didn't disconnect the cable. It would have been easier if I disconnected the high level brake light, but the plug for it looked a little bit weak, so I didn't want to disturb anything. So I just lifted it, moved it slightly back, and that allows you to get to there's four Torx bolts along here which you need access to. So that's the rear, well, they call it the rear deck. So that has to be removed. The next thing is, obviously, yeah, also, if you're a left-hand drive car, then your boot lid will hinge the other way, so you will start at the other side, if that makes sense. The next thing is remove the seats. I didn't do that. I don't think you need to. It says remove the B pillar trim, and now the B pillar trim is this bit here. I didn't remove that. I don't think you definitely don't need to. and then remove the bulkhead, which is obviously, that's the bulkhead is the leather trim section behind the seats. That just basically take the fuse panel cover off, and then you pull the trim, is what it says in the manual. But I didn't do that. I don't think you need to. I'll show you a quick shot of inside it in a moment. Bulkhead, B-pillar, bulkhead, no. Luggage floor. So yeah, I removed the luggage floor. So this is the luggage floor. You take off the rubber caps from here, and then there's 8 4mm, I think it is, Allen bolts holding this down, and then this will just pull up, and at the front it's clipped in here with some trim clips, and that will just pull, and then you take the whole thing out of the car. After the luggage floor, number 6 is the scuff plate. Now the scuff plate is, where is it? This is the scuff plate. Looks familiar because this is where you've got your oil and water fillers. This is just at the back of the car like that, and you've got 5 small torques holding it down. Take those off and the scuff plate will come off. After the scuff plate, we've got the headliner capping panel. This is the headliner capping panel. Now to get that off, that goes in like so, like that there. You have to remove the strut, the lift strut. So just disconnect that with a little clip on it, pull that off out of the way, and then this will just pull very gently to the rear of the car. Now that's the order it tells you to do it in here, and then it tells you to do the C-pillars. That's wrong. You have to take the C-pillar trim off before you take this off. This is the C-pillar trim. Obviously that goes over on the other side like so, and then that goes in like that. So I took that off first, and this just pulls towards, well, the far side would pull towards you, this side would push away from you. It's just on these little clips like that. Now some of this McLaren trim is held in with these double-sided bits of Velcro, which is pretty rubbish. So, and obviously that has come away with the trim, and that should be on the car. So as I put these back, I'll make sure they're all stuck on properly, re-glue those pads back on, and also some of these clips, you see, if you can see, some of these got metal clips on these tabs, but a couple of them are missing. They've stayed in the car, so I'll get those out and pop them on there before I make sure all the trim goes back together nicely. So that's the steps. Basically, I would miss out the battery, miss out the seats, miss out the bulkhead, miss out the B-pillar trim. You do need to do the rear deck vent, the C-pillar trim, and the roof trim, and the luggage tray. Because then this section here, okay, this, well, you can actually lift it out. I've left it in. But you can lift it out so you can then get access to the latch, basically. So I've left it in. When you take off the deck vent, you have to remove the gas strut from the bottom. So then obviously there's nothing holding the glass up, and it is actually very heavy. So I've just strapped mine up to the ceiling. You definitely don't want that to come down on your fingers, or even worse, onto the car. So in terms of screw locations, they're all hex, and you can see on the frame where they are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. There's about 16 around the top. Then there's 6 in the middle, across here, they're easy to get to. And then there's 4 at the back. Now the 4 at the sides have these little covers. Have these little covers over. I don't quite know why, but the 2 at the sides here have these little covers. So just flick these little covers off, and you'll be able to get to the torques there. And they are the 4 at the back are longer, and there's 4 in the middle here, which have nuts on. The others are all captive within the frame. Right. So this is the latch. It's quite a big unit, it's quite heavy, but I can see two things were wrong with this. Firstly, this is the motorized part, so when you press the button in the car, this will pull back like that to release the catch. Now, I think it should return to this point here. See, mine's just sort of flapping around loose, but the spring has come off. There's a little spring in here, which should pull this back. I don't think it matters. That's going to be almost impossible to get back on. I will try. But what was actually the problem with my latch was you'd push the boot lid and it would just pop back up again. It wouldn't engage the latch. And this part here, you can just see that it moves like that, was sort of very, very stiff. So it wasn't returning. So when the catch goes into here, it pushes down on this. And then this bar engages with the cam to lock it. And then when you release, you press the button in the car, and that goes like that. So what was happening was this bit. I'll just try and show you here. That action there just wasn't happening. So I've cleaned it, lubricated it all, and tested it several times. It all looks good now. So the way the problem started was the boot would latch, but it would show on the dashboard as boot not latched, and then obviously ping, bing, bing, and it wouldn't let you drive. Well, you could drive the car, but it was rather annoying because it kept pinging all the time. So this, again, I think it was because this arm was so stiff, it wasn't releasing. There's a little micro switch here, which that will be the micro switch to say whether it's latched or not. So what I'm going to do is give it a little bit more of a clean, a bit more of a lubrication, and then I'm going to put it back on the car and try it out before I put all the trim back together, and see how it goes. I got a price for the part. So I got a price for the part from a local McLaren dealer. They're really super helpful up in Guildford, Bell and Colville. I think it was £371 including VAT, and about £15 for postage, something like that. So under 400 quid, which actually I think it's a lot of money, but it's fairly reasonable, and it was a lot less than I thought it would be. So I'm tempted to just get a new one, but if this, because obviously if this fails again, it's a bit of a ball ache to get all the trim out. So I'll have a look, put this back in, connect it back up, and see how it goes, and then make a decision whether to replace it or not. Right, actually, one of the hardest things to do is to get the latch into this cutout here. It's really, really tricky. You can see it goes in, sort of pushes far in like that, and then pops back out. There we go, that's it in the right position. Okay, that's how it goes. But it is very, very tricky to get in and out of this spot. Just persevere and you will get there. Obviously, don't forget to reconnect the electrical connector. And I'll put 3 screws in. So that's it, that's the latch in. Just double check it. There we go. Right, so now it's just a case of putting everything back in the order it came out. Right, first thing to put back in is this rubber, I think they call it a gutter finisher. Right, I've not got all the bolts in. I've got half of them probably, so it's really secure. What I want to do now is check it, test it before I put it fully back together, just to make sure it's definitely worked. I've not got the gas struts on, so just going to be really careful with the glass lid. Oh. Right, that looks brilliant, spot on. I'm well happy with that. So I am going to put all the rest of the bolts in. Right, that's the deck all fastened. So now I'm just going to take off these Velcro bits that have been left when the trim's been removed, and I'll super glue them back onto the trim and get everything put back in the right place. Once the headlining capping is on, I'll do that one first. Then the C-pillars will go in either side. And then there's the cover here, very straightforward. This is the one over the oil and water, and then the main boot deck can go in after that. Now, I've been stopping frequently to wash and clean my hands. I don't want any grubby handprints inside on the or on any of the trim when it's done, and cleaning the trim as I put it back together, so the car will look better than it did when I started. So you can see this is the C-pillar trim, and there's a bit of Velcro there. There's little indentations where these need to go. So I'm just going to glue them back on before I put the trim in. Right, so here we are, all done.